Once a giant, always a giant. For me, it's only a giant.
What's going on YouTube? Diggy546. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new. Like the video if you like the video. And I won't tell if you click that bell. But let's go ahead and get to this. Alright, now what did I say last video? The video I made 2 days ago where people on Twitter were ready. And for the folks that don't have Twitter, first of all, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job that you don't have Twitter, that you don't have to see what goes on there on a day-to-day basis, especially in the Giants community, and then even in the NFL community, and even in the world community overall. So you're lucky you don't have to see that. But second of all, excuse me for reacting to what happens on Twitter, because I just see so many Giants fans and so many people who follow me on YouTube or whatever are also on Twitter. Anyway, Giants Twitter went completely haywire after Daniel Jones and the offense struggled those 2 days in a row to start camp. And when the pads came on and Daniel Jones had I think an interception or two, where he threw one up where the coach literally told him to throw it up to see how the DBs and the wide receivers react. And like a crazy, just the ball's up in the air, somebody's got to get it scenario. And then the other one, I mean, probably made a mistake. But at the end of the day, I got to do it. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about practice. At the end of the day, we're talking about practice. And when we're talking about practice, guess what? You make mistakes in practice so you don't have to make mistakes in the game. Now, I didn't even make a video yesterday, but I let it ride. I let things smooth out. Yesterday, Daniel Jones had a good day. People said he was tearing it up. He was, boom, 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 completions everywhere. Didn't have Golladay out there. But yeah, just getting the offense up and down the field. They said he looked good. David Sills looked good yesterday, and the offense looks good. And all of a sudden, people are saying, "Oh yeah, Daniel Jones is going to be a Pro Bowler. Or Daniel Jones is going to do this and that." Now today, Daniel Jones again came out. According to Bobby Skinner, well, that's one tweet. I mean, I've seen some varying things, but one thing I saw from Bobby Skinner over there on Talking Giants, who was at the practice, said that Daniel Jones went 9 for 10 with a drop pass. So he basically was flawless, and he threw, I think one touchdown or something like that. But it just goes to show you none of this practice matters. The practice has been, made a big spectacle because of the media, because of, not a bad thing or a good thing, but just because of the day we live in. You can get access to practice plays every year in training camp. You can see who's doing what in practice, who looks like, at the end of the day, it's practice. They're trying to get better. They're doing some things that they would never do in the game. They're exposing players to what they feel are their biggest weaknesses at times because they want them to improve on their weaknesses. So it's literally practice. They had practices where they were only practicing third and longs. They had practices where they were in the red zone. There's different situations. So one day of a great practice by Daniel Jones like he did today means literally nothing. It's encouraging because you want people to build confidence, but it means nothing. 2 days means nothing. 2 bad days, that meant nothing. Now, one thing I was happy to see today is I keep hearing about Saquon Barkley, and this is just like how he's moving. It looks like he has his burst back. It looks like he's back to his old self. It looks like he's trusting his legs, trusting that he's not going to get hurt again. So he looks very explosive. The offensive line has been opening holes for him. And I really feel like we have a mobile offensive line, especially with Shane Lemieux or even Azudu in there. You look at Andrew Thomas, you look at Azudu, you look at Shane Lemieux, you look at, I'm not sure how mobile Glowinski is, but I don't think he's, some huge guard. You look at Evan Neal, all of those guys can move. So you see guys pulling from everywhere along the line and getting big gains. Feliciano came in there and played pretty well from what I've heard. I heard that he pancaked Dexter Lawrence a couple times. So things are looking pretty good on the offensive side. Kenny Golladay, for the first time in a Giants jersey, was tearing it up, to be honest. The dude caught a 50-50 ball over Adoree Jackson or over Aaron Robinson, I think. He had a nice comeback against Adoree Jackson where it was really tight. Adoree Jackson's draped all over him, and he makes a contested catch there. And then he had a one-on-one drill where Daniel Jones was throwing it to him, where he just basically blew by Adoree Jackson, who's a much faster player, which shows that he does have some nuance to his route running because to be able to create as much space as Kenny Golladay did on Adoree Jackson, who's basically a track star, you need some type of route running. That's why it's so frustrating to me to see people say that Kenny Golladay can't run routes when I see the guy open all the time. And there's also such a thing as creating separation at the point of the catch. And that's what he does really well. So he's also great at making contested catches. But saw a lot of good things from the offense today. The defense, we saw that they were, doing a solid job of stopping the run. That's what I've heard. But they did give up some runs. They did give up some passes. But a lot of the passes they got completed, they had, pretty decent coverage on. Adoree Jackson yesterday had 2 interceptions on Daniel Jones. I think both had the possibility of being pick sixes. So you don't want to see that. But again, we don't know the context of the situations. We don't know if he was, we don't know what was going on. So that's basically my point today, is that you see the offense lighted up like today. Of course, it's exciting to see your players making plays. Of course, all of that is great. But it literally means absolutely nothing, because it's practice. Is literally a televised, not even televised, because they're telling you not to record, but it's literally people, taking clips of practice. Now imagine you're in training at your job, and say the shareholders at whatever company, if you work at a big company, are like getting live updates on you making mistakes as you're learning something new. Like, that doesn't make any sense. They're learning a new playbook on both sides of the ball, and we're criticizing them like it's week 7 or week 8 or it's a playoff game. So, I mean, I can't reiterate it enough. It's just training camp. What I'm looking for here is when we get to week. Really, you can't tell what a team is looking like and what type of team they are until you get into like week 4, week 5. Being honest, you really can't tell. But when I'm gonna start like panicking or getting excited, well, I'm not gonna get excited because the Giants have let me down way too many times. I'm not getting excited until I see like us looking that good in week 4 or 5. But where I'll start to say like, oh, this looks bad, or oh, this is something positive that we're gonna carry forward. And the preseason. You can't go off the first preseason game because, first of all, the entire preseason will be vanilla. Second of all, it's the first preseason game. It's the first game action that the team is getting. So you throw that out. If they're going to do any kind of a dress rehearsal second preseason game, you go all out there. That's when you play more than a quarter, more than just a drive or whatever they want to do. You send those guys out there. They go out there, they get comfortable. However they look there is probably going to be a lot closer to how they're going to look on, game day than anything that you're going to see, especially on a practice field. Especially as they're wearing, what is it? The things on there, I think they're called, I cannot remember what they're called, but you all know what I mean. They have these pads over top of their helmets on the offensive and defensive lines. And this is just, it's completely not a game scenario. And they're not going to go 1,000% against their teammates. Now, Thibodeau continues to look explosive. Evan Neal has struggled a bit against O'Shane Ximines and Quincy Roche. Again, he's playing tackle. He's playing a position that he hasn't played in a couple of years. He has to get adjusted to playing right tackle. He has to get adjusted to not just being able to use his strength and not being able to, have sloppy technique on one play and just win on pure strength or just win on pure athleticism. So I'm not really worried about Evan Neal. At the end of the day, these guys are going to continue to practice and get better. So you guys let me know what you're thinking of training camp so far. And listen, we got 8 days, 8 days until the first preseason game. If you made it this deep into the video, come on, just hit the subscribe button. I make Giants content primarily, draft content secondarily, and during the season, I'm going to be doing a lot of reacting to pretty much most of the NFL games and everything NFL. So if you made it this deep, go ahead and join the D6 squad.